மலர் மலர்மிசை ஏகினான் மானடி சேர்ந்தார் நிலமிசை நீடு வாழ்வார். Said by our own Thiruvalluvar several years ago. With this prayer song, let us start the 25th webinar of Quality Webinar Series organized by Nayaga Missions Research Foundation, deemed to be University, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, and hosted by VMRFDU Institute of Technology, Payanur, Chengalpattu District. With the privilege and profound humbleness, I wholeheartedly welcome our Vice Chancellor, Dr. P.K. Sudhir, for his august presence here in this webinar. It's privilege in welcoming the senior-most academician of this country, Professor Dr. Sandeep Sanchetti, Provost Vice Chancellor, Marwadi University, and the former President, Association of Indian Universities, New Delhi, to this webinar. Respected Director IQAC, Dr. P. Gnanashekhar sir, Principal AVIT, Vice Principals, HOS of VMR of institutions, HODs, colleagues, and external participants. It's a pleasure in organizing such a webinar, which is of 25th number. The number 25 is very remarkable and magic number for university as well as for this VMRFDU Institute of Technology. We are celebrating Silver Jubilee this year 2023, and we are now conducting this 25th webinar. So it's much more glad and honored to host this 25th webinar of this Quality Webinar Series. To do a formal welcome address, I profoundly welcome our Principal AVIT, Dr. G. Selvakumar sir, to do this formal welcome address.
Very good morning to you all. Distinguished and Honorable Professor Dr. Sandeep Sanchetti, Provost Vice Chancellor, Marwadi University. Distinguished and Honorable Vice Chancellor of SRM Institute of Science, VMRFDU Research Foundation, deemed to be University, Professor Dr. Sudhir. Director of IQAC of VMRF, Dr. Gnanashekhar. Deputy Directors, Directors, Joint Directors of Nayaga Missions, Heads of Institutions of the Constituent College of VMRF, faculty members, and dear guests. Once again, I extend my warm morning wishes to you all. Today, we have the privilege of hosting the 25th Quality Webinar Series, and we have the topic Quality Issues in Higher Education and Measures for Improvement. And to talk on this topic, we have a really multifaceted personality, who is, as mentioned by Sandal, a senior academician of India, an able administrator, an active researcher, a policymaker, and personally, he was my boss when I was the head of the institution of Saram Ramapuram campus. I'm very happy and privileged to welcome Dr. Sandeep Sanchetti, the Provost Vice Chancellor of Marwadi University, former President, Association of Indian Universities, to this webinar. I welcome you, sir. I welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Nayaga Missions, Professor Dr. Sudhir, who is instrumental in bringing back me to AVIT after a gap of 10 years. And I really welcome our Vice Chancellor to this 25th Quality Webinar Series. I also welcome Director IQAC, who is instrumental in bringing more initiatives, many initiatives to VMRF. And recently in the second cycle of NAC, we got A grade. And we have set a higher target of achieving A++ in the next cycle of accreditation. I welcome Dr. Gnanashekhar, and I welcome all the directors, deputy director, joint directors of Nayaga Missions and head of the institutions, and all the faculty members of Nayaga Missions Research Foundation, deemed to be University, and the guests to this 25th Quality Webinar Series. So today we have taken a right topic, the quality issues in higher education and how to address these issues. And we have the right person to talk about that. I welcome all the members here to this webinar series, and I hope that there will be a lot of takeaways at the end of this program. And those initiatives we need to implement so that we could achieve the target of getting A++ in the next cycle of accreditation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your warm words with your kind heartedness. It's my pleasure in giving a brief profile about our university for the sake of external participants. Our Nayaga Missions Research Foundation is located in Salem and has campus in the 4 locations: Salem, Puducherry, Karaikal, and Payanur, Chengalpattu district. These 4 campuses host around 14 faculty of education. You mean engineering, medicine, homeopathy, nursing, law, you name any kind of faculty in the engineering or in the education field, we have the faculty in our university. Around 13 colleges and 11 schools are under the Vinayaga Mission's Research Foundation. And here I have our own senior most academician, the Vice Chancellor of Vinayaga Mission Research Foundation, deemed to be University, Dr. P.K. Sudhir, sir. I welcome you, sir, for delivering the inaugural address.
Honorable Chief Guest of this today's function, Professor Sanjay T, our IQAC Director, Dr. Professor Gnanashekar, our Principal Aviation Engineering College, Professor Selvakumar, IQAC Coordinator AVIT, faculty members, and the participants, a very, very good morning to all. Now, the country is looking for quality, especially in higher education. Previously, the country was focusing on numbers. So we have in India, we have 1,000+ universities. We have around 50,000 higher education institutions, and our gross enrollment ratio is around 27+. And the country is looking for more quality, especially in numbers also, in quality wise also. So we are looking for a higher education ratio of from 27 to 50 by the year 2035. So all universities are trying their level best to improve the quality. So quality is not a constant; it's always a constant effort for improving the benchmarks in each parameters. So as a university, we also has very keen on improving the quality of higher educations, and also for looking for academic delivery in various angles. I'm sure this type of series of workshops organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell will improve, by inviting experts, will improve the scenario in our higher educations. Today we have an eminent expert, especially who is an expert in our engineering stream, former director of NIT Surathkal and the former vice chancellor of SRM, and currently is working our Marwadi University, the provost. I'm sure he will be able to identify the problem what we are facing in India in quality issues in higher education, and I'm sure he will be deliberating some key measures for improvement of quality in higher education. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your kind gesture. The quality webinar series, which was started in the year January 2022, and we have completed one cycle, and we are now running with the second cycle. All this happened because of a man, the leader of the IQAC, the director, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Dr. P. Gnanashekar, sir. I welcome you, sir, for delivering the keynote address.
Thank you, sir. A warm morning to all of you. It's a pleasure on the Silver Jubilee webinar of the Quality Webinar Series. We have a renowned academician and a person who has been rendering quality education all along his career. And it's a right person to take up the right topic. He is the one who knows what are the issues really quality in higher education is facing, and how to overcome these issues. With his tremendous experience and knowledge, he has analyzed the various problems faced by the higher education institutions in maintaining quality. Quality, if we say, it is perceived differently by different people. But if you take the definition of quality as attributed by Quality Guru Crossby, he states that quality is conformance to requirements. Another frequently used definition comes from Juran. He states quality is fitness for use. So this definition stresses the importance of the customer who will use the product. Whereas it is also defined as good quality means a predictable degree of uniformity and dependability with a quality standard suited to the customer. So when we take higher education, the customer is the student. And it's rightly said, the ability to meet the stated purpose for which the service is offered, that is education, if it is achieved, then we can say quality is achieved. So that is the purpose and for what we started this quality webinar series during the COVID scenario where we were not able to meet physically. We started with these webinars, and I am now happy that it has reached the level where it has become a routine, a normal calendar of event. Every alternate Saturdays, we have this webinar. And we have seen plenty of resource persons across the country. Even we had a couple of people outside the country delivering lectures specifically on quality topics for higher education. So I do hope today's webinar will open various avenues for us to explore, and with the enlightened speech of our speaker, we are looking forward for the webinar. Thank you, all of us.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the initiation and giving us the opportunity. Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure and honor in giving introduction to our resource person, Professor Dr. Sandeep Sanchetti, who is currently the Provost Vice Chancellor for the Marwadi University, Rajkot, and also the President of Association of Commonwealth Universities Council member, former President of Association of Indian Universities President. He is the co-founder of edorder.com, and he has been the Vice Chancellor for SRM University from the February to March 2021. And he is also the President of Manipal University, Jaipur, during the period of February 2013 to February 2018. And he has been the Director of NIT Delhi from the year 2011 to 2013. And also the Director of NIT K Suratkal during the year 2006 to 2011, which was duration of 5 years. And he has completed his UG from NIT Warangal and PG MSc Electrical Engineering and Advanced Electronics from Delhi College of Engineering, and his PhD from Queen's University, Belfast. With this small, brief note, the audience would have understood the academic potential of our resource person. It's so honor. This arena is filled with so much resource persons, as rightly said by our director IQAC. It's yet another accolade for the Vinaga Mission Research Foundation to have a senior most academician. Sir, the arena is yours, and we are much more eager to listen to your deliberations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind introduction as well as the invitation. Congratulations to the Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation for their 25th version of this quality-related webinar or the talk. I congratulate particularly Professor P.K. Sudhir, the Vice Chancellor, under whose leadership all these things are shaping up. Also the IQAC Coordinator, Gyan Shekharji. Also my distinguished colleague, former colleague in SRM, Professor Selva Kumar, the Principal of AVIT, and everyone who has contributed to the rise and the position of Vinayaka Mission's current performance. And I'm sure what you're aspiring for as the A++ will be soon with you. That's my wish. And I'm sure with such an awareness which you're creating, I'm sure every stakeholder is working towards that. I think today I've got this invitation to talk about quality issues in higher education and measures for improvement. So I'll be talking something general about that for the higher education. I will not be very specific to you. Reason for that is while I was in your vicinity, but I never had a chance to visit you. But hopefully soon I will make it that whenever I'll get an opportunity, I'll come there as well. But I keep hearing about your successes, so I'm sure it will keep building. My best wishes for that. I also thank the people or the faculty and other members, internal and external, who have joined for this particular talk. Thank you so much. We possibly can say for quality is that quality is something which is not really very well understood in the context of higher education. And certainly since our products or our inputs, our processes can be very, very widely varying because if we are dealing with the human mind, humans basically, and therefore quality cannot be defined in some abstract form that if it fits this measurement, this is the quality, and if this is the process, that will be the quality. I think those ISO-like approaches, which sometimes were used or is being used in the administration or in the production or whatever, cannot be necessarily be applied for the academic processes and more so for research processes. Here, I must tell you that I was possibly part of India's first effort for ISO certification, which was under the project called Project Impact, which was a Government of India project for the electronics specialization. And under that project, my institution and my own department was the first, one amongst the first two to be put under the hammer. And we found it very challenging that how to define various things in terms of, we got stuck when they wanted us to define research in terms of the entire quality processes. And we said research is something harping in dark or something new. It cannot be defined. It can succeed, it can fail. Process can be told, but nothing beyond that. And there were a few more issues. This was 1996. So it was 27 years back, ISO certification. And so there were limitations. So you can understand that the quality in the context of higher education was not set. Even today, I would say the standards required for quality for purely for higher education are not known. We are doing some sandwiching. We are picking something here and there, and then we are going ahead. So that's the challenge. But obviously, quality can be in a given context. Quality is nothing called absolute. And it was said by Gyanashekar ji just now that quality is conformance to some certain requirement. If it meets that, that can also be said to be quality. So there are various versions for the quality. So friends, from now onwards, I'll probably take 50 minutes to share some 10 slides from my side on where I'm highlighting some issues and then possibly some solutions, and maybe highlighting some key one, and maybe in half of them, 5 slides, I'll try to give you unique examples, which you can consider equivalent to case studies, which have helped improve certain things. And therefore, quality is a very complex sum of hundreds of parameters, may be accumulated over a period of time, which can be anything between 0 to 10 years. Beyond that, possibly you can neglect, but what happened 10 years back can also have a reflection today. So the sum could be very, very huge in terms of time, in terms of parameters, in terms of complexities and non-linearity of the model, in case you'd like to follow one. But I'll not get into that model kind of a thing. I would simply say that in every aspect of our activity, if we are able to deliver quality, all that complex formulas of quality measurement will be automatically be taken care. That's my version. So I'll start with something very simple. And we all know that under NEP, we are addressing certain issues. The government is addressing certain issues. We are addressing, or some of the issues are common: access, equity, transparency, and accountability. These are fine. They are not necessarily addressing quality, but they are fine. It's part of the educational drive Government of India does. The Government of India has also added quality to it, and quality is happening for last 20 years, I would say, typically more seriously. From the time when some of the new benchmarks or international ratings have become popular, and we ourselves have become more serious about accreditations. So accreditation is one such method by which a quality assurance or quality tag is given, NAC and NB in our case, most popular. Slowly they acquired a very important status also, particularly NAC, because it gives an overall setting. And also a lot of government initiatives were related to that. So quality is happening. So this was the fifth parameter. And the sixth parameter, I would say, is the diversity, which is addressed in the NEP in form of multidisciplinarity. That means diversity, that you can do diverse thing. I think VMRF is a very diverse institution. Medical engineering, you yourself said that there are around 14 faculties, 13 colleges, and 11 schools, and so many other things which you have, maybe many departments. And that is what is needed. So that is also getting added. But two things, I'm making a statement here. Quality delivered, but not with what you call two parameters, which are my own, which I love them, are called as speed and efficiency. If I'm delivering quality, but taking long time to deliver quality, once again, it will not serve the purpose. I'm delivering quality, but at too much of cost of time and money, once again, it will not be efficient and it will not mean much. I can do wonders. I have infinite time, but time is not infinite. And therefore, I have to have a good speed when I'm talking about my quality. I also have to have good efficiency, that every penny which I'm using makes sense to it. Okay. So with this background, I would say that quality is something very complex. We will move ahead. And I'll first address the very basis of what we call driver of quality. First slide will be on the driver of the quality. I hope no one will take it otherwise. These are my observations about what we call IQAC. Now, these are not a reflection on what you do. You are doing wonderfully well, but I keep observing many of them over a period of time through the processes of NAAC, particularly because that's where it is required. And these are my observations. Are you able to see the block here? Can you confirm, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir,
great. So one thing I would say is IQAC is the least understood. All right. Don't mind it too much, but I'll try to explain something. It's a non-statutory body, so sometimes it doesn't have the teeth. But sometimes it's only decorative. People create records, and people have been caught creating records also, just to show that IQAC is functioning. So I'm just showing the issues which are there. Sometimes it is omnipresent. In everything they show IQAC. Just below the board there is IQAC, and below the IQAC there is a principal or director or whatever, something like that. Everything moves through IQAC. So sometimes it is omnipresent. There is no real expertise available for IQAC for us. No one has generally been trained, I would say. And there are not too many bodies which specializes in delivering quality in educational setup, external bodies, I'm saying. And many times I find same set of authorities, same finance officer, same registrar, same someone possibly would be sitting in the IQAC committee and running it. And therefore, it does not do very well. And then, of course, improper record keeping, inadequate, you can say, or insufficient, you can say. These are some of the issues which are there for IQAC. Professor Gyanashekhar, I'm sure you are not in that, but there is always something for all of us to learn. That's why I'm sharing it. And by the way, these things, if I visit a normal institution, no one would be able to show me, neither would I have time. But when we do the audits, accreditations, that time the IQAC comes under the scanner. And that's why these are the observations. In many cases, wherever I've gone, I made sure that I try to give them the inputs to improve. So what are the solutions, friends? You can note down some questions if you want to ask me something later. I put a timer, so at around 50-55 minutes, I'll close, but I'm comfortable with time. If you're comfortable with time, I'm also comfortable with time. So I would say that generally clearly define the purpose. IQAC should also have its objectives. Generally, it is not very well defined what IQAC should do. Is IQAC an administration? Is IQAC a quality improvement body? Is IQAC an oversight on something? All that will have to be defined. Give importance, but not statutory powers. That's another thing. A lot of people say IQAC approved it, IQAC directed it, so we did it. I think these are not good answers. Conduct regular meetings, which I find not there and generally not shared, not updated. Somehow something is done when the IQAC papers are required, things are created. Let it not be involved in everything. Let it not be doing everything. It should do the sampling. It should do the quality check. It should not do everything which is required. If you do everything, it will kill the autonomy of the institution and their authorities. IQAC will become almighty, all-powerful, and therefore it should be avoided. One thing which I always followed is engage external experts. That's my strong recommendation to you. I have been hugely benefited by that. I must give you the names of the agencies. One is the Quality Council of India. I do not know if their chapters are there in your vicinity. Their representatives can be a good value add because they know the recent trends, they know the practices, they know the audit methods. They can always add great value. And the second thing is IIQM, Indian Institute of Quality Management or something like that. It's a Ministry of Communication and Information Technology body, generally sitting with ETDC. And they have acquired that status, which are an Institute of Quality Management. And they also do very well. And fortunately, in my case, on 2-3 occasions, I've been able to involve people from such agencies in my body. Number one, they are fearless. They are external experts, so they open their mouth and say what they have to say. Number two, they have a good knowledge. And number three, they connect us with the good examples very easily or good institutions where something is happening. So this will be something very important for me. And common but active members to be enrolled. Don't enroll the members who cannot speak, who cannot have extra time, those who do not have drive. So sometimes there are too many members and everyone sits quiet in front of Vice Chancellor or the Director IQAC or someone, and that's not a good sign. I generally take members in my committees who can dare to speak, who can ask questions, who can correct us. And when they do that, obviously they are thinking the same way we are thinking. And that is needed in the committees. All right. So even if there is someone who is a strong advocate of certain things, and you think he'll be making trouble, I would better bring him into this body and make him understand or understand his view and make him a member of IQAC. I think that's the approach I try to follow. All right. So for driving quality, obviously IQAC is a driver. There's no doubt about it. It's made by a NAC requirement. Of course, everyone gives cognizance, even UGC now talks about that, and IQAC equivalent bodies are being created for distance education or online education or for some other schemes also. And if not, IQAC is being given this. But remember that till now, IQAC is not in your act, not given to you as this thing. It may be just a guideline, but an important guideline. So after this, I'm going to discuss probably 9 more slides, which are certain issues on certain specific aspects of institutional functioning. And those are, number one, curriculum design and delivery. This is the most important, as you would expect, that real job which we do is to educate the students, and therefore curriculum design and delivery is important. So if I look at the curriculum issues, you'll probably see curriculums are in many cases outdated, infrequent updating, even if they are not very outdated, but updating is not enough. Loaded with domain specific courses, because every BOS has members from that given branch or specialization, and therefore they don't let other courses come in very easily. So they only talk about their domain specific courses. I'm an electronics guy. I know how many times in Board of Studies people will fight that we need this course. How can be an electronics engineering complete without that course, and so on and so forth. So those loaded with specific courses. A lot of copy and paste happens. Sir, IIT does that, and therefore we should also do it. Is also, they'll name some good institution, say SRM or say whatever, and they say, sir, we should also do it. I think that's another issue, that it cannot be. I must tell you that curriculum design is fine, but when it comes to delivery, it should be not teachers around courses. It should be courses around teachers. Mark my word. Not the teachers around courses. It should be courses around the teachers. When Sandeep Sancheti comes to Vinayaka Mission, then obviously it should be what he can deliver best. A course should be built around that. And that is how you can probably improve the delivery. Anyway, too long or involved processes in changing the curriculum, particularly in the government university, big universities, traditional universities. Curriculum design is generally poor in skills, and therefore the job orientation or job placements can be a challenge. This I will make a statement because some 15 days back I was in Australia, and you'll be surprised to know that they give high value to skills, and highly paid jobs are available in their skills, and they don't do education like we do. And therefore we need to balance it out. I'm not saying that we'll do entire skills only, but we need to balance it out. So we are generally poor in skill, and unfortunately in engineering, if I give you that example, medical may be very good, let me tell you, but engineering is not so good because our workshops have vanished, geometrical drawings have vanished, hardware-based labs have gone out in many cases. Most of it is becoming software. So in certain cases, we lack the skills. So, and the biggest challenge is lack of self-learning, provisions for self-learning, support for self-learning, understanding of self-learning is missing in most cases in curriculum design and delivery. I must again give you a statement here, mark my words. Self-learning is nothing but learn on your own. I call this as the biggest attribute or value one should have, and I call this as a learnability. If you have developed learnability while you are getting higher education, you will be successful throughout your life because you can unlearn, relearn, and learn again, whatever. And therefore this self-learning. So my prime focus when I educate a student for engineering or BSc or whatever that may be, that has he developed the ability to self-learn? Now we don't keep component, we keep pushing things through our course content that this is the line, this is the topic, this is the definition, this is the formula, this is the derivation, this is one numerical, and this is something, and that's how we cover the topic. But we don't leave enough gaps, inquisitiveness amongst the students to self-learn something. I think you have to excite them. You take me close to a very big venue where there is something and say, Sandeep Sancheti, now you can be on your own and find out what is there. So deliver the excitement, but make me self-learn. So I must say that earlier when I used to teach, when I became a faculty in 1984 for the first time, in January, my whole motto in education, classroom delivery was cover the syllabus. Whatever lines are given, and our syllabus in a university will be very detailed. One subject will have almost 1 page of this fine will be there, and we'll read all lines and topics and keep delivering those topics. So we used to cover the syllabus, and students will be happy once we cover the syllabus. I'm sure many of you have gone through that cycle, isn't it, Selva Kumarji, that cover the syllabus was the focus. Now the focus should be on uncover the syllabus. Mark my words, uncover the syllabus. When I say uncover the syllabus, I should be able to tell a student, why am I teaching this subject? How is it important? Where is it going to be applied? Is it connected with your future or your past? Various things of that nature. So when you uncover the potential of something, it's something like that, telling about a movie, fantastic movie, action movie, where is this, best actors, awarded by this cinema fair award or something like that. Obviously that excitement takes you there, isn't it? Same thing happens with a novel. Same thing happens with a game. Oh, big time cricket players are coming and it's the key match of, let's say, IPL or World Cup or whatever. People are automatically pulled. We need to pull in the students when we do the curriculum design and delivery. So curriculum should be a magnet to say so, if you can understand. So what are the solutions? Let's see the solutions. Revision should be need-based or regular, and both are important. Need-based is suddenly ChatGPT has come, isn't it? What to do with ChatGPT, whether to include its use or not, whether to make a policy or whether to teach something about it, will have to be a need-based. But regular things would be every 4 years, you should be able to have a major revision if required, or generally required, I would say. That will be my cycle. And in between, every year, 25% of the courses should be having minor revisions. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Make it a cycle. Your teacher can always say, no, sir, this subject is good. No, sir, students are happy. Just because teacher is happy teaching the same subject again and again, he will make this statement. But you make sure that, no, every subject will be subject to a revision in a 4-year cycle. That means 25% in a 1-year cycle. You may change one line or two line, add or delete something old or stale, and add something new and exciting, because every domain is growing. Softwares are growing, new formulas are coming, approaches are coming, design case studies are being published, learning materials are happening, MOOCs are there. Add and delete certain thing. Otherwise, one can always feel good. No, sir, everything is fine with me and nothing to be changed. Specialization component, today's requirement in multidisciplinary should be less than or equal to 50%. A lot of us try to overdo by 60-70%. That means the courses on what you call the environment, the value education, the laws, the social sciences, various things are even required for or for medical people or engineering people, including courses on IP, including courses on communication skills, including courses on reading and writing very well. I think engineers are never exposed to writing anything. In the whole 4 years, the only pages they write is in the examination. Rest is already given to them as a cookbook, including the notes, as well as the learning materials, as well as the laboratory notebooks. They just write few readings and it's finished. They don't write even a one full page of their views on a subject very easily. Some assignments are given, I agree, but assignments are rather non-serious. They are copied, pasted, and then obviously they are not checked seriously also in many cases. Therefore, they don't serve purpose. So I would say that a lot of diverse courses will have to be delivered, and therefore specialization should be typically limited to less than or equal to 50%. Go up to 50%, but not more than that. Do not make it loaded or heavy. You try to put too much of food inside your body, what happens, you probably know. And now here you can say that the education or knowledge is the food for mind. Try to put too much inside, it will crash, it will misbehave, it will react, it will not digest all that. And therefore, typically keep those 20 credits which the government or the new agencies are saying. Remember that when we were student, credits were around 225, 230. Later 220, then 200, then 180, now 160. And if you go abroad, and I'm sure you have a lot of partners, and you find out how many credits they use, you'll find that they use only 140 or 120. They're surprised that how come we are using 160 credits. So don't make it too loaded. My thing would be not more than 6 courses in a given semester. And then 1 or 2 labs can be there. So it can be somewhere around 20, 22 credits, and somehow you can distribute it. And that's how you will give a lot of time for self-learning. Okay. Deliver adequate skills wherever possible, either with the theory course or with the practical course. Make hands-on skills which are there. Take them to industries, labs, simulations, whatever those things are there, skills are there, something should be there. Integrate it. Just don't keep it theory because it's easy and it's cost effective. I think this will be my answer for self-learning. I said lack of self-learning. My answer for self-learning is use flipped or MOOC models. Give the lecture one day in advance that this lecture of MOOC or flipped this thing will be discussed today. I'm not going to teach theory of it. I'm not going to teach the definition of it. I'm not going to draw the equation or phase diagram or whatever that may be. I'm only going to discuss the applications based on that. I'm only going to discuss the difficult issues with that. And therefore, once a student knows that teacher is not going to do the routine things and he'll talk about advanced things of that particular topic, he will have to come prepared. How long can I remain hungry? It's something like that, that I don't eat food properly and my parents keep feeding me and I become happy. But if they stop feeding me for two days or 1 day or whatever, I'll feel hungry. I'll automatically run towards the food, isn't it? So it's like this, that you make them run towards the knowledge. Tell them that this is what I'm going to discuss, but I'm going to discuss this. Yes, you can solve their problems. I'm not saying that don't help them, but don't spoon feed them. And therefore, the flipped and MOOC models are very essential for us to teach. Just adopt them, and that will help the teacher also get the load reduced, also help the teacher supplementing teaching by good people. And also sometimes these models give you the internal assessment, so it will reduce your unwanted assessment load also. You can devote that time for research and so on and so forth. So I would be very strong advocate for flipped and MOOC models. And then engage with variety of models, so blending, whether it's an industry visit or whether it is the project-based learning, or whether it is a learning in the society, or whether it is the open labs which are there, or tinkering labs which are there. These are the variety of models which are there. And then, of course, you learn from experts, you learn from peer groups, you learn by visits, so many things. So engage learning actually should happen outside the class also. The classes can be 6 hours a day at the most, in my opinion. 8 hours a day you can sleep. So 14 hours. Out of remaining 10 hours, 2-3 hours you can possibly say your routine, food and freshening and all that. Remaining 8 hours are the real wonderful things where variety of models can make you learn. So can you make sure that they have one sport where the team working and the failures and everything is learned very, very easily. Similarly, entrepreneurship can be there. Similarly, innovation can be there. Similarly, clubs, societies, professional bodies, they all make their learning complete. And therefore, use all those variety of models to deliver good quality education. This is a very big subject. I could have devoted 1 full hour on this slide itself, discussing various aspects, but I know you are equally knowledgeable and you understand. I'm just reinforcing what you know. Let me tell you, my friends. Okay, so that's how it is. Let's come to the skills and vocational courses. What are the challenges? Considered low level by us as well as the overall society. Poor interest in social recognition. If I go with ITI and I still earn good money, people will not give me much respect. So that's, and because of that, poor respect is there. Skills are very, very diverse. What skills to acquire, what not to acquire is a challenge. More cost for delivering it is a challenge for skills, because they need hardware, they need raw material, they need more time, and they need individualized machines or spaces, whatever it is. Skills sometimes can have much faster rate of obsolescence. You can have machines replacing your skills very easily, particularly you have seen robots doing the welding. So maybe the job of a welder can possibly be a small this thing, which can be a bit difficult. But skills can be very important. I come from electronics. Job of a fiber splicing was one of the highest paid job in US for quite some time. People who could do the fiber splicing will get per splice certain money, which will actually amount to be a huge money compared to most of the other jobs. So skills can be very, very well paid also. Skills are not very well structured. The education of skills is not well structured. Why I'm saying this, in last 10 years, government of India started what you call the skills universities. Every state started a skills university. I'm sure Tamil Nadu also has one, but they've not got any kind of a recognition or appreciation. They are still struggling. UGC did not necessarily amalgamate their courses and gave equivalence. They forced them to give a degree called BWalk. Now, BWalk, the moment that you say BWalk, you always think it's probably a secondary degree. The same thing which happened with the distance education. So you created classes saying that BWalk is a low standard. I don't think it's a low standard. Anyway, creation as a different class was another challenge which we came with the skill and vocational, and limited upward mobility. If I go through the skilled route, I'll be saturating very easily after ITI and diploma, and there is not much of mobility available. These were the challenges conventionally there, and these were the issues. So let me come to the solutions which are there. Skills are must for life. A life without skills cannot be survived. Can I be not having skills to communicate to my friends, neighbors, or relatives? Can I not have the skills of driving, or maybe in the current case, cooking, because not many support systems are available? various types of skills are required in your life, and skills to manipulate, manage your emergencies is important. In most cases, you have heard in the foreign countries, DIY, do it yourself. And they have the required skills to deal with the challenges in electricity or heating or lighting or water or what are such things which are there, including house painting, lawn mowing, vehicle cleaning, whatnot. All these things we don't have. We sit very pretty in our sofas and order it to some low person saying that you do it for me. I think those are wrong things to say so. Can be more rewarding even financially. I have already given you that example of optical fiber splicing. There can be many high precision manufacturing things where the job is highly paid. Let me tell you, all those skills of jewelry making and other things, if you have those special skills, can be very rewarding. Society should be give it importance. So we should not be disrespecting the people with the skills. Australia and Canada are the two countries which possibly gives very high rating to skills and high payment also. In Australia, it is said that people from India come with a lot of educational degrees, but then they find that if they have the skill of driving and they start driving, they get paid more and they forget about their degrees and they start using their skill for earning livelihood. So that is the importance of the skill there. More investment in skill, time and energy should be there. Fortunately, this National Higher Education Qualification Framework, which is a summation of National Vocational Educational Framework and National Skills Qualification Framework and all those things, various things are mixed up. And this NHEF-QF is making it properly structured. That means the skill has the same weight as any other course. Okay, the skill is treated at par as any other course, and therefore it can have the same credit and it can be counted towards your degree. Degree can be BA, BSc, BCom, BTech, anything, and it can have skilled courses. Provided they are of right level. Obviously, you'll have to define the levels. I'm not saying any level will be acceptable anywhere, but to the levels, and they have defined something like that. And there is a credit framework where we are mapping such things, and various committees are there, UGC, AICT, which are trying to talk about it. So that's one. And the second thing is ABC, the Academic Bank of Credit, diminishing the differences and integrating it. That means ABC says, if you have 160 credits, you will get a BTech degree, let's say. And in that, some of the things can be a skill. As long as your university recognizes that skill, you will get a degree out of that. ABC will transport it, ABC will secure it, capture it, and do whatever it is there. ABC is a framework where a student chooses what he wants to do. I can do 50% skills and 50% others. I can do 25% skills and 25% something. Like that I can do. And that's how I can possibly make my degrees. And therefore, skill and vocational now getting better platform. So please use NHEQF, National Credit Framework, and ABC to understand how you can integrate and how you can use skills effectively. The skills will be the answer for the job. Maybe to begin with, it may be slightly lowly paid, but I have the skills and I have the knowledge of that subject also. I'll have much bigger potential to do well. That's the potential there. Okay. I come to open learning. As I said, learning should be from various platforms and this and that. These are all about academic related issues. So open learning falls into that. Not too much of open learning. Least interest only as per directions of councils or courts. If council says, AICT says, do it. Court says that you have to have an environmental education, you do it. Otherwise, we don't do it. Someone says value education is must, we'll do it. Someone says teach in multiple, your mother language, you will do it. So we don't do open learning. Open learning basically means go as you please, serve the interest of the candidate is what I would call more of an open learning. we are generally worried about whether it's going to be credit or audit. In my own university, 2 days back, we were struggling with in our academic council, sir, we want to introduce that, how to adjust the credits. Can we do it this? Can we do it that way? So this dilemma is always there for open learning. Availability of teachers to support open learning is generally poor. Teachers are not interested generally that they take their classes 16 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, and then say, okay, my job is done. I think that's not a good thing. Availability of teachers is poor. Timetabling can be an issue for open learning many a times. Class sizes can also be an issue because they are randomly at the beginning of the semester, you get who is interested in what. And finally, assessment is the most difficult part of an open learning. All right. And that's the difficulty with the MOOCs, which we see. So I highlighted one major issue to just give you some idea of what is the biggest challenge in that domain. In my view, your view can be different, doesn't matter. So some of the solutions obviously can be give its position. Open learning means give them every day 2 to 3 hours to go to sports ground, go to library, go to computer center, sit over a coffee, go to innovation lab, work for some senior on a certain project, or chit chat, discuss something, have group discussion on a subject which may be political or which may be scientific, does not matter, but you will learn something, because ultimately the top level things are many things are interconnected. All right, drive it in your on your own without getting imposed with something like that you can do. So what I'm trying to say is you decide what you want to do. I want to teach environmental 2 courses because environmental and SDG is becoming important. I'll teach 2. I don't wait for a Supreme Court's order or UGC's order to do 2 courses like that. Do both credit and audit because the sincerity and seriousness has to be there. But if you don't keep credits and audits, probably you'll fail in delivering those courses. Hire external experts or industry people to do such specialized courses. Conventional faculty may not have certain inputs required for open learning. Scale up classes. If a particular subject is of deeper interest, then scale up those operations. I must tell you that in open learning, when I was the Vice Chancellor of Manipal, my engineers were very keen on courses like etiquettes and mannerism, on the courses on the sports. And some of the engineers are very keen on what you call financial engineering as an elective, because many of them will go for banks related job. So open electives allows them to fit the bill of their interests. Some of them obviously will be interested in the music or performing arts and all that. So that can also be done. So if there is a bigger class required for something, call for external experts and scale up the classes, something like that. And obviously, when it comes to taking care of the assessments, I think I will possibly say that in case of open learning, the assessment should be more of a continuous nature, internal kind of a thing, rather than the end-term based or one-time based kind of a thing. That's what I will suggest for open learning. I come to the multidisciplinarity. What are the issues? Number 1, not a priority. Everyone is interested in their own focused area. Number 2, difficulty in understanding what is multidisciplinarity. And why? Because there are other terms like transdisciplinarity, cross-disciplinarity, interdisciplinarity, intradisciplinarity, and of course, multidisciplinarity also there. So there are lots of terms that how do you relate, what do you understand? But multidisciplinary in general is going beyond your conventional subject and learning from other or working with others is possibly what you can simply understand the multidisciplinarity as. 2 wide spectrum of courses. They can be of minus infinite to plus infinite. When it comes to multidisciplinary, if an engineering student is trying to learn Sanskrit and wanting to do that, whether you can offer it or not can be a challenge. So we'll have to see. The spectrum can be very large. Also, the courses sometimes can be introductory or advanced. I had a tough time when I taught in AIT Bangkok in 2005. That I was supposed to do an elective. Half of my class were quite knowledgeable about the subject and half of them were not knowledgeable, but they chose that elective. And therefore, I had a tough time how to balance that. So that can be a little bit of challenge. And once again, in multidisciplinary things, classes, teachers, rooms, classrooms basically can be a challenge. What are the solutions here? Obviously, multidisciplinary is need of the hour. Right from the beginning, from the education 1.0, multidisciplinary was the nature of the education. We somehow created silos that this is electrical and this is electronics and this is this. In fact, if I'm a graduate of electrical engineering, master's in electronics, and I've done my PhD after some time in computer science, no one will be ready to take me easily saying that I don't have the core of either in master's or maybe in BTech or in PhD or whatever that may be. That's the bane of the system. That's the wrong thing about the system. Multidisciplinary have much more value in my opinion. And I can tell you the example of one of the NITs which I was heading. Poor people from material science background always found it difficult from coming from physics or chemistry or bio background or maybe materials, metallurgy background or whatever. And finally, I devised a method whereby I made all the concerned people sit together. I said, either you 4 or 5 people decide where this candidate fits, otherwise I will decide. And that's how they started accepting, understood the importance of multidisciplinarity. Assess through stakeholder feedback. I think who wants to do what a student wants to do would be the multidisciplinary for him. So take a feedback that along with this, what more can be done, what less can be done, like that. Bucket-based courses can be given very easily so that there is a direction. And you can do that. If you want to specialize in entrepreneurship, these are 5 courses. You want to specialize in artificial intelligence, these are the 4 courses. So that's how you can promote some sort of a multidisciplinarity with a guided this thing. Promote all types of courses, disciplinary courses. Don't limit yourself that with engineering only will allow science or something like that. No, it can be history, philosophy, economics, or performing arts can also come. Lay prerequisites for advanced courses. Sometimes we don't do in conventional universities. If you are delivering advanced courses, obviously there will be prerequisites which will be required. So please do that. That would be nice. And keep flexibility of all types. When I say, pardon me for this type of mistake, I did it late last night, so maybe. And so when I say flexibility of all types means the class sizes can be big or small. The teachers can be from inside or outside. Learning can be in open environment. And I must tell you that a few years back, I met a New South Wales University faculty who was probably not more than 30 years of age. And he was taking a class of 500 students. And through technology tools and this flexibility, he claimed and he showed us that he's able to manage the class of 500 with personal touch to every student. Personal touch to every student. He used all those flexibilities to make sure that, and we can't do it even for 60 to 80 students in terms of personal touch, and he was able to do it. So yes, keep flexibility of all types. Okay, use of technology obviously makes it very important. As I was telling you, with New South Wales case, he used technology extensively, whether it is the blogs or whether it is the AI or whether it is the electronic submissions or whether it is the timekeeping and record or whether it is assessing gestures and responsiveness, various things. So technology, understanding and availability will be one issue. Sometimes we don't understand and sometimes it's not available. Support and training obviously is a challenge. Cost and space aspects can be a challenge sometimes. Space is less, but the cost can be more. Modernization and maintenance is required with technology every now and then, AMCs and all that. Availability with the students, particularly during Corona time, every student said, I don't have bandwidth, connectivity, device, mobile, whatever, laptop, nothing was there. So sometimes availability with the students, if it is required with the students, it may not be available. The biggest issue with the technology is the inherent resistance to change, which is the nature of mankind. Maybe it's true for me, maybe it's true for many of us. We don't want to change easily, and that's where the technology gets subdued. So we in education did not use technology extensively till Corona happened. Till Corona happened, we were very happy with chalk and talk, and everyone was like that. So now it's changing. And obviously, one big challenge is most of the technologies which education uses are borrowed from other domains of defense or medical or commerce, but they are not education-specific technologies. So that's a challenge which is there. So what are the solutions? One, attempt new things. As soon as something is getting introduced, attempt it, what it can do. I must tell you that when I was a young faculty in 1988, for the first time, we networked our computers, 1988 itself, 35 years back. We started learning about that. We bought almost all latest computers of that kind, which were possible in our pocket, whether it is the PDPs or microvacs or something, wherever it was available, we did it. So attempt new things is always the case. Exposed through training and visits to good institutions. Wherever it is functioning, those technologies, go and visit them and see. I'm sure they will also show you proudly and tell you why they use it and how it's making difference to their students. Generally, students from ordinary institutions fail in interviews when they are asked advanced things because they have not seen those equipment. They don't know how it behaves, what is good and bad about it. When the question is asked, have you seen this? Have you touched this? Have you faced it or whatever? They say it was not there in my institution and they start feeling bad about it. So don't do that. Take them to institutions. I'm sure IITs can also not say no if you want to take them, but you'll have to have your link there. IITs are also public money and they are also supposed to do the networking. So they have. Create corpus funds for use of technology. Create some money every year and make sure that this is only used for the updation of the equipment, modernization of the equipment, starting of the new lab on, let's say, on AI or data science or whatever that is required, or maybe some specialized distributed manufacturing or IoT sensor technology labs, and all that you can possibly do through special corpus funds. Finance needy students or create open facilities. Either if the students cannot afford, I think like we do the internet labs, we can create some other facilities where such common facilities are available. They can use it. That's the purpose. So public libraries were because everyone cannot afford library. Same way you can create open facilities for a student. They have to write examinations and they cannot write because the connectivity is not good in room or the devices are not good. You create a lab for that purpose where everyone can go and it's a very, very good environment and there they can do all that. Expert talks with use cases. I think use cases will excite the technology very nicely. And you know that when you do something new in the mobile, there is a use case, there is an app, there is your son, daughter, friend, someone tells that if you do this app, you'll be able to do this very easily. And that is how you can do use cases. And then develop good and easy tools. So keep developing some friendly technologies and their uses, and therefore the use of technology will also go up. I come to the very important thing called examinations. And by the way, this technology is the one which I must tell you that in technology case, many new technologies are going to come very soon. My imagination says that there'll be one folded kind of a screen which will be there, which will be LCD or any other screen of that nature. That screen will have your embedded computer and that can be folded. So when you are traveling or you're waiting, you can sit on that as a table or chair. And then when you come into the room, you can open it, it becomes your screen. On the screen, there is a book, there is a notebook, there is a pen, there is a cursor, there is an internet connectivity, there is a gaming, there is an animation. There is whatever it is there, capturing attendance, everything is there. One single device, no big bags, no loaded books, nothing. One single device will be there in every student's hand to make sure that his connectivity and all his resources are available to him. He will not worry about that I have to adjust my bag today morning and then go to school and then he forgets homework book because he has taken the classwork book there and vice versa. All those things will vanish. Technology has that power. So I'm just giving you one imagination that how technology can change things. So that is how we can use the technology. And of course, AI and all that can be getting rid of our invigilations. We keep wasting 3 hours to 6 hours a week, every faculty on an average and in this duty. And no one is happy doing that. And by the way, when a student does wrong thing, it's very difficult to catch him also. But when it's technology, obviously, everything is recorded, caught, and we don't have to waste too much of time. So technology can be very beneficial. I come to examination. Issues are stereotyped examination, scale of evaluation can be challenged, frequency of evaluation can be challenged, Transparency in evaluations can be a challenge. Delays caused by evaluations is a challenge. Very purpose of examination is a challenge because you only want them to reproduce something, not apply, not understand whatever. So that's the challenge. We need to have new methods of examinations. Unfortunately, most of us do not know what are the new methods of examination. So I'll possibly give you one or two answers, solutions, and maybe you can apply. Limited use of technology is also there in the examinations. We don't use it, though in Corona times we started using that. So what are the solutions? Change the patterns regularly, okay? Distributed, examination should be distributed over a period of time. Maintain good frequency as well as surprise elements in the test. Otherwise, the test will lose significance. Everyone will mug it or remember it for a couple of days and then forget it. That's what you are told in every interview. So I had studied this 2 years back, 3 years back, so I don't know. I think those answers are not good. So if they apply, then obviously they cannot forget. Be more transparent in evaluation and give feedback. Here, I must give you an example of my young university where I'm currently heading. Everything is done electronically for me. I don't do a single paper processing administratively. We are almost zero paper, you can say. Some of you can come and visit us, and we call it UniRP, University Resource Planning is what we use. And we have developed all in-house tools. Reason for that is because we come from a financial background, shares background, or promoters. So they used to be seeing everything on the laptop or device or the terminals and take quick decisions in doing so. So that philosophy has come up in our system also, and we do everything electronically. So one beauty of that electronic system is we have a completely proctored examination system, which is in-house developed, which can capture all the mobile, control it, and it can capture all something like 23 possibilities of wrongdoings from the student side, count them, warn them, capture them, record them. And if something goes beyond a certain limit, it can remove the student also. Various things are there. But even better thing is, any student in my Marwari University today can see his or her answer scripts for any examination online on his mobile or her mobile entirely during the period of study. So suppose I'm a final year student and 4 years back, I have appeared in some test in first year. All my marks are available to me. All my answer scripts are available to me. I just at this push of a button, I can see that. Why it's important? It gives me a feedback. Suppose I got 70 marks out of 100. I'm happy that I have got very good marks, but I do not know whether I got answers, these answers were wrong or these answers were right. And therefore, somewhere where I thought I got full marks, I might not have got. And somewhere I thought I'll not get marks, I got something. So if I have to get this feedback, then only my learning can be complete. Feedback always completes the loop or the cycle. And this feedback is always available to them as in when they want to visualize it and use it. And that's the power of what you call the examinations being transparent and using technology and giving feedback. And obviously the examinations will have to be what you call the applications, knowledge application rather than knowledge reproduction. All right, that will be something very, very important. So give them the design exercises, give them the case studies, give them the analysis of something, give them to synthesize something, but not to do what you call derive, define, describe, and draw. Those are very easily. We generally write, draw this, define this, describe this, and derive this. I think that we should come out of. And therefore, knowledge application rather than reproduction should be very important. Use of technology to scale up. Now here, I'll also give you one more example. If you want to raise the average performance of your students in examinations and their knowledge, what you can do is team examinations are very important. Team examinations basically means that if, let's say, Professor Gyanashekar, Professor Selva Kumar, and myself are classmates, batchmates. Suppose I'm poor, okay, but what happens is if there is a team made between 3 of us, and then teacher says that 70% marks will be your individual marks and 30% marks will be your team marks, then maybe Professor Gyanashekar is a topper, He will make sure that Sandeep Sancheti learns something so that the team average remains high, and he'll help me, not otherwise. Otherwise, he'll not be bothered about me. So that's one philosophy we can use to improve the examinations of team. So what you do is divide the class into 3 verticals or 4 verticals, and from each vertical take 1 student, and then make them a team and then do the evaluation. That can be wonderful to improve the average performance. Okay, we are not happy with making one topper or maybe one guy getting a high placement of 80 lakhs. But if our average placement is 10 lakhs, we are very happy. So we want to improve the average performance of the country, average performance of the class. So this team examination can be good. And another thing is this open examination, which I said application rather than reproduction, is nothing but an open book examination system that helps judging these kind of things. So possibly you can do that also, in my opinion, and that's how you can improve the examination aspect. International things, I think, are very, very important for the simple reason that we need, the world is shrinking and our students go out and work in the world everywhere, and therefore we need to do something. So in most cases, the problem is internationalization is to show off that we do it. It's also for money churning, that we earn big bucks by having NRI quota and this quota and all that. So it's for that. Inadequate respect for the internationalization is a challenge. Poor facility is a challenge. Because we don't have hostels and living spaces and specialized classrooms. Social disconnect for international students, that they cannot gel well in the society. People see them with whatever other distinction, right or wrong, whether their color or language or style, and they don't respect them. Procedural requirements sometimes can be a big hassle, that the police requires them to report for various things and clearances, visa. And the biggest thing why they are not happy with India or they don't come to India is limited academic flexibility. That's very poor. And we should try to improve upon that. And then the barriers of language and job opportunities are also a challenge for international students. What are the solutions? I'm not giving solutions for everything, but some solutions I'm giving. Improved diversity is something important that helps my student to learn and have tolerance for various things. Most of the best institutions of the world, Oxford, Harvard, Stanford, Cambridge, make sure that they have hundreds and hundreds of nationalities in any given program. Make it cost effective. We should make it cost effective, not money churner, because if I get 10% of my students in my class are international, say from 20, 30 countries, then possibly you will find that my students who are Indians, 90% of them will learn something about those countries at no cost without going there. So please don't make it that from those 10% I'll get more money and I'll be happy, otherwise I'll not take them. No, even if I take them at Indian cost, my Indian students, 90% of them learn about those countries. So you'll be surprised to know that my university, current university, is a young university, only 6.5 years old. I have something like 53 nationalities present on my campus, and 16% of my students are purely international. And we are the one of the most preferred institutions in Study in India initiative of Government of India. And of course, we get a lot of admissions through them, but we get a lot of admissions through our own efforts because of word of mouth, that we have created a good ecosystem for them. Promote internationalization at home is important. Sending students outside is an answer, but a very costly answer, difficult answer. Promote it at home. Let them come, they learn, they go with Brand India, and Indians also learn about their countries. I think is a nice thing. Create dedicated facilities, hostels, food, whether they want veg, non-veg, or maybe some travel to city for shopping and religious places and all that. Support and connect social and food religious requirements, I already told you. Most important with this flexibility businesses, create bridge courses and language support. Many of them come with a background of Spanish or French or whatever such things which are there. Okay, my system is giving me a signal that I'm finishing my time, but I'll try to finish it very soon now. All right, so this possibly will be second last slide, and I'll try to finish it soon. So bridge courses are something. I have students from Mozambique right now. We were initially agreed for 30. Finally, we have taken around 40. who are with us for last 2 to 3 months and who will be starting their education in the coming semester. They're just trying to learn the language and become comfortable and get certification. So something like that can be done to make international students succeed. Invite country-specific companies for placements. That can also be a good thing. Many international companies have operations in respective countries in Africa or Malaysia or Indonesia or Sri Lanka or Nepal or Bangladesh and of course in Europe also. So you can invite them and they can take the students already trained from that particular country, trained here and competent. So that's how you can promote the internationalization, which can be there. But for me, my advice will be don't charge international students too high a value. All right, and make them very, very comfortable. Of course, you can charge a reasonable money, but don't charge high. And faculty development is an important issue, as you can see, least importance by the managements generally, or even by the vice chancellors like us, lack of opportunities, attempt to do minimum is there in the blood, range of courses, sometimes complacency that I know everything. There is no one better than me is what teacher thinks. And that's where things go wrong. Frequent shifts and changes which are there, only linked to promotions. When we are generally working towards promotion, we work hard or we do something and again we go in the sleep mode. Not enough practical connect, that we lack that industry or other connect exposure and all that. That's a challenge. Solution: make it the most important. We are the machinery of the educational industry. If I see this as the industry model, you can call the education as an industry and we are the machineries of that. So make it very important. Machinery should be important. 1 FDP per year, every teacher should do. They should find 1 week, typically 5 days, typically, whether in physical or webinar mode, and seriously, 1 FDP per year. In what should they learn in that FDP? These are the things: for teaching, learning, for content delivery, about new pedagogy of teaching, learning, about initiation of research, about innovation and entrepreneurship, whatever. By rotation, you keep doing these things, and maybe something on use of technology. So there can be 5, 6 topics, major themes, under which every year you should do one. I'm not saying do everything in 1 year. Every year you choose, this time I'll invigorate or improve my research. This year I'll get into some innovation and entrepreneurship. This time I'll learn about new pedagogy and so on. So every year teachers should do one course. For that, they can be given paid leave or something like that, but they can be given a little bit of liberty. Connect it with their self-esteem in terms of faculty development, that they decide what they want to learn. Of course, they can plan it out and then you can support them, and connect it with what they want. That's something important. Join hands with industry is something equally important, in my opinion. Industrial connect can bring placements, bring money, bring the right kind of projects, funding, and then various things in terms of seeing the action in the industry like that. And then we have started in Marwadi University a scheme. I started it in the SRM also. You can probably see it's probably one of the unique practices of SRM. I call it FIIP. I started it in various places, Faculty Industry Immersion Program. That means for 1 week, faculty will go out, they'll be paid salary or honorarium, they'll be paid expenditure, they'll go to industry, shake hands with them. They will not bother them too much. They don't expect anything out of that, but only befriend them, learn about their problems, tools and issues, and then bring those things back in the teaching, so that your teaching is much more improved. Industrial examples, teaching is also having more practice-based courses which you can do. So that's the beauty of FIIP, and good number of faculty enjoy it. It's a kind of a paid holiday, but you go to an industry and learn something without any expectation from either side. Okay, so I can give you more details, and hopefully AICT is going to initiate this FIIP model also from their own side. And finally, I come to the last slide. Research obviously is the most important for our quality or benchmarking. And why I'm saying is because research drives us our NIRF, NBA, and NAC in a big way. Large number of components are research. So in general, research, we don't have adequate interest. Cost issues or funding issues are there. We don't have internal money for funding research. availability of time. Everyone is loaded with assignments and academic duties and data submissions and classes and various things in invigilations, so they don't have time. Challenge is what to do in research application or fundamental. We are at loss. Research is a very diverse nature, so it's a challenge to understand what is the starting point. And the biggest challenge is society or industry not engaged in it. Indian industry or society is not very innovative. They don't seek our support or they don't believe in us. So that's a big challenge in research. And then, of course, poor doctoral output also hampers the driving of research. And financially, research may not be very highly rewarding in certain cases. In general cases, in certain cases, it's very rewarding. So research is a new knowledge generation. And since we are a knowledge worker, it is our duty to develop the new knowledge. It's not knowledge generation and it's not the knowledge accumulation and knowledge delivery. We have to generate the new knowledge and therefore we have to do research. That's how the cycle will be complete for knowledge. Knowledge has to be generated, knowledge has to be assimilated, and knowledge has to be distributed. Right now, what we do is only assimilate and distribute. We don't necessarily generate much, and therefore research will generate the knowledge. Invest in it economically. It can be more rewarding also in certain cases for a country, for a big setup. Do all types of research, whatever classes you call as a research. Research is a big term for me. Research can also mean for me consultancy, testing, development, entrepreneurship, innovation, incubation. Various things can be broadly classified as research, and therefore do all types of research. Make it highly multidisciplinary. What succeeds in one domain should succeed in another, and vice versa, or connect the dots. What works in certain setup can work in another. And most important for driving would be improve quality and quantity of doctoral program. Have more enrollments, constantly review them, send them out, connect them with good institutions, good people. I generally know that research people help each other very easily. If you write to a good author or a researcher that I want your help in doing something which you have done, I'm sure mostly they will come forward and do something and therefore improve the doctoral program. And in case some of the big universities which have done recently well in these rankings, and since you are also aspiring, you know that how much impactful a doctoral research program can be, because it gives you more publications, more patents, more citations, more funded projects, more industry connects, more technology transfers, and so on and so forth. And more high end of teaching learning can also happen through research. So, and obviously for research, you need to give rewards and awards. Otherwise, it's not driven. It needs to be motivated nicely. And that's how the research would be there. So friends, with that, possibly I come to my last slide where I'd like to conclude. And the conclusion is quality is composed of many parameters. I have taken some 9-10 parameters. There can be equally 9-10 more significant parameters, which I can say, but because of time, I would not have done it. So quality is a journey, not a destination. You will constantly be on the move when you are aspiring for quality. You cannot say that I have achieved the quality and you'll stop. The moment you stop, your quality is gone. It survives on time and resources applied. It's important. And it thrives on deeper interest and sacrifices made. Sacrifices are very essential for achieving the quality. Sacrifice can be on my time. Sacrifice can be on some other, you can say, fun and fair, which I might look for. So it thrives on deeper interest. I go deep into doing something and then only it is achieved. Quality obviously can fetch huge recognitions. It can boost your self-esteem. You need A++, we need A++. Why? Because it raises our self-esteem and it can be financially rewarding in long run. So if I'm able to establish my institution's quality, in long run, it's self-propelling. Most of the top institutions in the world have become self-propelling because their own people give them money. Anyone coming for education is ready to give money. Anyone who is not able to afford money gets money from the institution. So there is a complete ecosystem by which it becomes financially rewarding in long run and self-sustaining also. So that's the beauty of quality, that quality indirectly drives your financial viability, in my opinion. And my last slide here, we know sometimes you might have heard on different platforms, is a slightly modified version from my side. When it comes to quality, do what you say. Whatever you want to say what you do. So keep repeating that, letting people know why we and how we do it. Prove it, then assess it. Once you have proven it that you are able to do something, assess it what more can be done, and then improve it, something like that. And then once again, the cycle goes on. And that is how you can get into the cycle of improvement. I think this is going to be my mantra, and this is going to be my final slide. And with that, I'd like to close my presentation. I hope I have not taken you for a long discussion unduly, but in case I've done so, please pardon me. It's just my interest, which I thought I'll share. But if you have questions and answers, I'm ready to give as much time as required, and possibly I'll be able to give better examples when there are pointed questions. So thank you, everyone, for this time. Appreciate your interest in improving the quality, because through you, many other institutions in the region will be benefited. Through each one of us should become a nodal point for driving quality. That's something very, very important. India is realizing, we are realizing it, but then we also have to deliver it through our good work. So with that, I would like to close my address. Professor Selva Kumar or Professor Gyanashekhar ji, and of course, Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor Sudhir. I'm open to any questions. Anyone can moderate it if it is there. I'm available. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was so wonderful presentation. As rightly mentioned in your presentation, quality is a journey. I hope your lecture would be a beacon for all of us to achieve the destination. Thank you, sir. There is one question in the question and answer session, sir. The professor has not mentioned his name and the institution, but
No
let us go with the question.
Yeah.
I want to know a few points about the professional practice, whether age will be a constraint.
It's professor of
practice.
Professor of practice, is age will be a constraint.
Okay. Look, anything can be a constraint if you are only seeing them to be counted as a faculty, because you have a faculty student ratio, and to count it in the faculty, you have a UGC norm or AICT norm or some norm, and therefore you are worried. No, I will not be worried. I will generally have my faculty of required ratio. Let's say it says 1:20. I may have 1:20 or 90, but I may have 10, 20 people, depending upon my numbers, who would be freelancing. They can be 75 also, they can be 80 also, and they can be 25 also. And those who can deliver that knowledge. For example, in information security, a lot of young people are much better than a lot of old people. So what I'm trying to say to you is an expert is an expert. It should be irrespective of the age. And if an statutory body is not ready to count it, let it be. You can have a couple of extra persons who are not counted, does not matter. You always have redundancies. In your car, you can, instead of 4 tires, you always keep 5 tires. In your house, you keep so much of redundant stuff in terms of your clothes and articles and electronics that there is no harm. If the person has a value, just bring him in, irrespective of the age. Let me tell you, IITs have gone into hiring people or retaining people who are even 75 and 80. Why should I do it? I will always do it. I've always done it, irrespective of this thing. But when UGC wants to see whether it's to be counted or not, let them worry about counting that. I'm more worried about delivering good education rather than counting the heads there. All right. It's like eating mangoes rather than worrying too much about the seeds, how many seeds are there, and so on and so forth. All right.
Thank you, sir. There is another question from Dr. P.S. Aravindraj, Associate Professor of Advanced Institute of Technology. Dear sir, you were telling about sending faculty members to industry for knowledge upgradation. I too have interest on this, but will that be possible in all departments or industry? Very rarely industry permits outsiders to their circle.
Look, I have not faced a single problem till now that some industry is refusing. You have to have some connect with the industry. Obviously, you just cannot walk in that, hey, I have come and I'll be sitting with you for 6 days. That's not the answer. You have some connect, you have some communication with them, you share some possibilities that why you would like to come. And in most cases, some of the students of yours would be working in those industries or some other institution. After all, they have also gone through the same channel. They also understand the importance of this learning. You can do a handshake, and through that you can say that when I come to you, there'll be no cost to you, there'll be no time, and there is no other requirement from your side. I'll learn what do you do. If there is something secret, I don't worry about that. But if something open, that learning will be transmitted to the students. They'll be better prepared for the job of your industry kind. And I'll use good real life examples from your industry to teach the students, and probably I'll give problem solving from your industry so that there are better answers available, and everything at zero cost and with new friends. So generally it's not a case unless the industry person is a very short-sighted and very small industry. Big industries will never refuse. They give internships. This is like an internship for faculty. Why I'm advising for faculty is faculty makes a permanent bridge. A student in 3rd year or 4th year goes and does something. He learns something, and by the time we do something more with that student and that industry, he gets into a job and complete connection is lost. So faculty makes a permanent bridge when it comes to what you call industry interaction. Otherwise, every 6 months, the whole thing goes to zero, and you cannot reigniting one thing again and again every now and then. Once one thing is established, it should become a permanent bridge. So FIIP is a permanent bridge. Yes, I agree. One odd industry can say, hey, we are not interested. But I'm sure today industry wants cost effectiveness, wants innovation, wants research, wants development, wants newer products. And those industries will always be ready and charged to receive you. That's my suggestion.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your elaborate explanation, sir. I think no more questions. With this note, I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. P.K. Sudhir, sir, to give his concluding remarks.
No, sir, it was a very interesting talk from a leading expert, Professor Sanjay T. He was not preparing any notes from anywhere. That's what I understand. He has presented the things which he has evolved over a period of last 30 years, identifying the problems and the solutions. Every institutions are different in their problems and different they are making their solutions. This was very interesting, sir, and thank you very much for your for quality delivery on improving our quality in our institutions. I'm sure some of the things our faculty members and head of the departments and the IQAC can take up, especially on group learning. I was very much impressed on that assessment examinations on instead of 1 or 2 persons performing in a very high way, let us have a very standard improvement for the entire group of students. That will be definitely, it is a new model, and it is very impressive, sir. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your detailed deliberation on quality of enhancement in our system. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for this opportunity to all of you. Really nice to get connected. And I look forward to some one-to-one meetings or visits also sometime.
And I was highly impressed when you talk about we should publish our failures in Meghalaya. No, sir, in Meghalaya or in Meghalaya, you were told, yeah, I remember in our Vice Chancellor, all of us are very scarcely in publishing our failures. We should publish our failures. That should be a learning for others.
Oh, yes, yeah. I can give you umpteen examples from my own life, where I have covered that. And obviously time was not enough, but that's one way in which research becomes very easy to attempt. Because in most cases, people getting into research fear that if it doesn't work, what will happen to me? And that fear should go away. If you have a fear of driving, you will never be able to drive or swim. So the fear of research should go away, then only the research can happen. So good, I'm happy that you captured it and you remembered it and recalled it. Great, sir. Very nice to meet you all. Thank you for your time and interest. I'm blessed to be part of your series, and particularly the Silver Jubilee version of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I
Thank you,
request
Selva
Dr. P.
Kumar.
Gnanashekhar, sir, to give the concluding remarks.
I think our VC has summed up. So once again, I thank the resource person. It was really knowledgeable, sir. We do look forward for such interactions in the near future, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Let me
you,
do
Professor
the
Gnanashekhar. Thank you, Selva Kumarji. Thank you, IQAC team and the coordinators and everyone.
thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Let me do